Hey,
Alright,
what's up?
so hey, what's going on, guys? Today's stream is going to be with me. It's really just a podcast with me and my broski Dom here. Oh man.
Coolios.
Oh shit. Yeah, man, Dom, how did you enjoy Outlast, man? Ah. Oh shit, dude. Where is this guy? There he is. Ah. Oh shit. Alright, that wasn't too hard. Do we have a rocket launcher? Okay.
I'm back, dude. Sorry about that. I was watching a YouTube video.
Ah, nice.
I just didn't want you to get copyrighted.
Ah, understood. I appreciate that. But man, how do you enjoy watching me play Outlast, man?
It's fucking great.
I've been thinking about starting an Outlast series, but it's like I don't want to play it on the hardest. I'd start from the beginning, sure, but it's like I don't know, man. I just don't want to play it on the hardest difficulty, man. It's just you understand. Yeah, for me it's too hard because you can only hold two batteries, and one in the chamber. That's bullshit, dude. When in the normal game you can hold 10, and sometimes that isn't even enough.
Oh.
Sometimes it's very rare that that's not enough. But man, I just like I'm really good at the game and all that, and there's a lot of situations where I can, pretty much not use up all the battery. But I will go ahead and say one thing, and that's that in Outlast, it really, if you're new to the game, you shouldn't play on the hardest difficulty, just because you really do need the batteries for like night vision. Okay.
Oh shit, I did get a comment. Yeah, definitely looking at the comments. That's something. Do you see it?
What happened?
Did you get a comment?
Not yet.
Oh. I wonder if someone comments on YouTube if it goes directly to your thing. I don't know how that works.
I'm not sure. Oh, that clutch, dude. Oh shit.
By the way, have you ever tried the Twix frozen bars? They're really fucking good.
Note taken. But yeah, no, I have not taken one. But note has been taken.
Oh shoot, I'm watching it right now. Damn, these fucking things are crazy. That gun is nice.
All my guns are nice. Alright, I gotta get rid of this. Yeah, these are orange is legendary, light blue is pearlescent. Look, Nemesis, Resident Evil. There's no escape.
Oh shit.
See where it says in red text? Yeah. There's no escape. Yeah, no, seriously.
Is that from Resident Evil 3?
Yep.
Resident Evil 3 is one of the best. I really want to play the remake. I really do. Since I like it a borderline. And if you ever can make a series, you gotta definitely do fucking Resident. I know Resident Evil. You're gonna do all the Borderlands. Like Borderlands 2, 3, I guess, and the pre-sequel. Not in that order, but you know what I mean.
Well, I do multiple streams and videos on, you know, Borderlands 1, 2 pre-sequel. I'm pretty sure I have multiple videos, but I would really like to. But I would really like to do a series, yeah. Like walkthroughs. Chronological order would be Borderlands 1 pre-sequel, 2's DLC. Then that would be Borderlands pre-sequel. No, it would be no. I got it all wrong. It would be Borderlands 1 pre-sequel, Borderlands 2, Tales from the Borderlands, then Borderlands 2's Commander Lilith DLC. Then it would be Borderlands 3.
Also, Tales from the Borderlands is before Borderlands 2 what?
Before the Commander Lilith DLC. Because Vaughn's in it.
How do you know it's like that though? Is it
because Vaughn? No, it's because Vaughn's in the story.
Oh.
Scared the living fuck out of me in real life. I just got scared the fuck out of.
Did you actually play Tales?
I've already played Tales.
No, I'm saying for your streaming.
Maybe if people want it.
I don't know. I want to see the decision you made.
Well, you know, if you have Tales from the Borderlands, you know you get content in Borderlands pre-sequel.
Just a pre-sequel one?
Yeah, you get guns, skins, and stuff like that. Not in 2, no.
I'm surprised it gives you all the shit for pre-sequel on the second game.
Well, do you remember because remember Tales came out after pre-sequel, and by the way, remember that was all back on the PS3.
I thought Tales came out after 2. It came out before 2?
No, it came out after pre-sequel. Okay. 2 that happened much. Okay, pre-sequel came out in 2013. Number 2 came out in like 2012.
Also,
no, it came out in 2011, I think. Late 2011, early 2012. Borderlands 1 came out in 2009.
So the second. Oh yeah, I forgot the pre-sequel came out after 2.
Yeah.
Chronologically is.
Okay, so yeah, it's chronologically. Now the game, how the games release: Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel, Tales from Borderlands. Now check this out. Handsome Collection comes out. Then after Handsome Collection, then it would be the Commander Lilith DLC. Then it was Borderlands 1 Remastered. Then Borderlands 3.
So some people played the game by playing the second game before pre-sequel, because they didn't know pre-sequel was even going to be a thing.
Well, because it didn't even become a thing, yeah. What pre-sequel does is it's the prequel of the sequel. So what it does is it fills in the time gap between the first 2 games.
Do you think it's a game worth playing?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoy all the Borderlands games. Now, just because I don't say that, just because I put pre-sequel low on my list, doesn't mean it's a bad Borderlands game or a bad game in general. It's just the other games I feel are better.
The only game the pre-sequel beats in your opinion is Tales.
Yeah, that's because Tales isn't even truly a Borderlands game. See, this is Borderlands. All of this, this is Borderlands. Tales is a story-based game, but you see what I'm saying though? It's not a true Borderlands game.
Because it's not
it's by Telltale Games, so it's like decision-based. I like the game, I enjoy it. It's just as a Borderlands game, I don't know, man. I felt like they could have done more with it.
Like a spin-off, right?
Yeah, I thought it feels more like a spin-off, but since it is tied to the story, I do give it credit. I know.
Just like I feel like pre-sequel was probably a spin-off.
Well, sort of, because I mean, like I said, the game really I don't think was supposed to happen. But then again, I'm glad it did, because that gave us more look, man, I love Borderlands. I'm an addict, really. I play all the DLC. I've read the comics. I've what's it called? I've played the games various amounts of times, both on PS3 and PS4. So I just think the Borderlands 1 game, I don't think you'd call it authenticity or nostalgia. I don't know what you'd call it, but whatever it is, keeps bringing me back. I think it's called originality. Because no other Borderlands game feels like this. These graphics are unique. They're not in any other Borderlands game. And the reason why is because they've improved the graphics in Borderlands 2. Pre-sequel carries that. And then, you know, Tales from the Borderlands has its own unique graphics. And then, of course, you have Borderlands 3, which has the newest graphics engine. So... But just because it's all Borderlands, I like it.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, I think we weren't even like talking. I'm surprised.
Oh no, I zoned out, man. I was in the Borderlands zone.
Zoned out from Borderlands. Damn.
No, from reality. No, from reality.
From reality. Fucking reality's in the stream, but it just zoned the fuck out. Like nothing exists.
Nothing but Borderlands.
You know what would gank your fucking... I feel like if you played Outlast, dude, on the stream, holy shit. People would be shitting their fucking pants.
Yeah, it's a scary game. I enjoy it, man. I love the game. I love the story. Alright, Taylor Cos.
Wasn't as scary.
It just isn't. It just isn't. It's because it's hard to scare me. It really is.
I feel like because usually sequels tend to not capture the same amount.
Well, you see, the first game takes place in a fucking mental asylum, dude. Okay, that in itself is already scary. Now, secondly, there's blood everywhere, guts, and above all else, everything wants to kill you. Well, almost everything wants to kill you. And there's a big fucker. There's a creepy doctor that slices off flesh and fingers and stuff. It's not a game that. Okay, so it's not a game where it's like, okay, here's the bad guy. He's scary. Run from him. You actually fear the enemies if you're actually scared of the enemies, because they can get kind of scary. Secondly, you're in the dark, okay? So it's like, you need your night vision a lot, and the game gives you just one tool, and it's the camera, and you use that tool throughout the game, and you get used to it real fast. That pacing works for me. I think it's good. I think it's good horror. Now with the second game, with the sequel, you just don't get that, because it's like the enemies aren't really that scary. They're not notable. It's just constant rinse and repeats of like the same character. Now there is a unique enemy type, if I recall, though it's, you know, I'm not gonna really spoil the game or anything like that, but the game gets, it gets more scary as it goes along, whereas Outlast 1, it's scary from the start, you know. Yeah. And I like the first one better, and it's more original. But Outlast 3 looks, Outlast 3 though, now you're talking about sequels tending to not be as good as the original. Outlast 3 looks fucking amazing. The graphics
look. To be honest with you, not to interrupt you, but I guess it kind of did. But Evil Within 2 is way better than 1. Just saying.
Oh man. Oh man, dude. I don't know. I like the original more.
The second game is 110% better. And
well, maybe it may be better, but literally
mechanically, story. I like a story that gets more personal to the main character. That's what the second game did. It tied the main character into the story. The first game was too much of a. There was not enough answers to questions. The second game answered a lot more questions and still kept
but then again, I think that it's more determined. For me, it's all about the vibe, man, you know? Like, the original game, I liked the art style and stuff like that. I liked how you had, you know, how you remember that beginning, that first guy you meet, you're like tied from the ceiling. You cut yourself loose. I like that vibe, man. That place is actually... Have you played Condemned? But I like the randomness though. It made it gave off good vibes. Have you played Condemned?
No, I haven't.
Okay, look it up. You'll see what I'm saying. Look up Condemned 2 Bloodshot.
Sometimes randomness just doesn't work for me though. I just like something more straight to the point sort of thing. You know? I guess I like having a reason to be where I am in a video game. You know what I mean?
For me, it's like, if I don't know where I'm at, I have to figure it out.
Well, I like figuring out stuff as I go along, but I like having a real reason. Like the second game, he had a reason to do what he was doing. Not to have a big spoiler, but it kind of is the point of the second game. Basically, you'll find out in the very beginning.
But at the very core of a horror game, it's all about scaring the overall, you know, about creating a frightening atmosphere.
There are some pretty scary moments in Evil Within 2 that get you to jump. In my opinion, like that big monster.
Oh man. Yeah, I like Condemned because it's not really a horror game necessarily, you know, but it has those elements. Both. I mean, it's a scary game. Don't get, like, one mission is in a fucking doll factory, bro.
Oh god, yeah, I see. In the second game, yes.
Yeah, dude. That game is amazing. I love the main character, man. Ethan Thomas. Yeah, Ethan Thomas. Fucking badass, man. Just badass, man.
Badass.
I think you'd like Condemned, but it's such an old game that you just would never ever come across it. It's so rare. Man. Oh no, man, I love the 2009 and below games, man, you know?
Don't get me wrong though, like, nothing, like, Evil Within 1 was a good game. I felt like it ended on such a sequel way, like, you knew there was going to be a sequel to the first game. The second game really tied the game down. Like, they really could make a sequel to the Evil Within, but it's not as necessary because a lot of questions got answered. There's still a lot of questions, like, one thing in the second game, I really wish they brought up Joseph more. They only gave him a sort of, like, nod to, I guess. Not to spoil it. But, and they just tied it better. And in the first game, the one thing I liked, though, was the match. And they really should have brought that back in the second game. Hopefully the third game fixes that. Where they bring that match thing again, where you could just, like, kill all the enemies around you. I love that so much. It was so helpful.
What's it called,
you have
man?
To admit, the first game's controls, oh my god. So clunky.
Oh yeah, clunky control. Though I kind of enjoy them being clunky. It sounds so weird, but it just adds to the vibe. Have you ever played Siren?
Oh no, I've seen a lot of gameplay on it. It's supposed to be like the same guy who made the Silent Hill 1 and all that.
Yeah. I've played Siren. I've played the original and what's it called? Blood Curse.
One game that I actually like the clunkiness of was Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, Silent Hill was pretty good.
Story, especially Silent Hill 2. Nothing. The story of that game is like the pinnacle of survival horror stories. That is like the top story-driven game. And everybody says it's overrated, but it really isn't. It deserves the hype it gets. The level of story that game has in it.
Do you like Silent Hill Downpour?
A lot of people have mixed reviews. I never played it, so I can't really have an opinion on it.
I'd say it's okay, man. I enjoy it.
A lot of people say it brought back the whole town itself, but they felt like the story lacked, which I don't know. I haven't played the game since 4. I really gotta play 5. I heard Homecoming was a very mixed game as well. 50.
Oh, Homecoming was pretty good. Like I said, a lot of the later on Silent Hill games get kind of mixy, you know, as far as opinions go.
Some of it's good, some of it's bad.
Yeah, they have a bit. It's pick your poison, really.
Same with 4 though. Silent Hill 4 was a very mixed game. It's one of those games where it was like it changed the whole thing, like first person, and you're not exactly in the town of Silent Hill the whole time. Silent Hill 4, because you remember Silent Hill 4, how it was. You had to go to all these different places, and actually, to be honest with you, I think Silent Hill 4 was, to me, one of the scariest games of that franchise. A lot of people disagree with me, but for me, it was the scariest. Only because it had ghosts. That shit creeped me the fuck out. They can come back alive, and just... Oh, I hated those fucking things. The enemies in it as well.
Man, you know what, man? Since Siren Blood Curse is, it's safe to say it's an unknown video game because nobody really knows about it or talks about it. Man, there's this part in Blood Curse, right? I think it's like the last level where it's like you have to constantly go through this like hospital level. And there's like this lady and there's like this octopus thing in a fucking wheelchair. It's fucking creepy, bro.
Jesus. But yeah, I think Silent Hill 4 had the second best story. A lot of people will disagree with me. A lot of people will.
Oh, I bet, man. Well, that's because the Silent Hill series is so suggestive. It's like, it's either you like this one or this one.
people will either say that 1 is the best or 2 is the best. I've rarely ever heard people say 3 is the best, and some people actually say 4 is the best. To me, I'm the type of people that say 2 is the highest peak of the franchise. Can't get any better than that. 4 was very close. It just...
Now, I can't say Downpour is the best, but I liked Downpour.
But 1 really deserves more, like, definitely for me, through the first 4 games, I would go 2, 4, 1, 3, and a lot of people like... Because something about 3, yeah, it was the only one that had a female protagonist, but it just something about it lacked in it.
It was lacking in the streets.
That, and I just felt like the story was rushed, and Harry, they shouldn't have killed this character off like with it. Yeah, I spoiled it, sorry, the game came out in like 2003. I mean, come on, people. Anyway, I think
I hate when people get so sensitive about a game, about being spoiled about a game that came out in like 2003.
And plus, I mean, they know we're talking about games by like. Plus, I was saying like spoil it and spoil that, but the third game really was rushed a little bit, and I felt like they could have put more story into it. I did like, however, when the character said, when you're killing the enemies, that those aren't exactly what you see as enemies, like you see different. That was one thing Silent Hill 3 did good with the psychological horror. When you're beating down the enemies, they're not exactly the enemies you see, that they could be just regular people you're hurting. Which kind of creeps me out not thinking about it. Every time I hurt those enemies, it could have been other things. Or not. Or you've just been fucking with us. You don't really know the truth. It's true horrors or something. Downpour, I gotta say, when I watched gameplay of it, was probably the most thing that the closest game that wasn't made by the original developers that was closer to that sort of vibe, in my personal opinion. 5 looked pretty good too, but I don't know, just ever since after 4, definitely every game's been mixed, even with 4 included.
Well then, I've enjoyed my favorite horror game, and it's gonna be overrated as fuck, man. But it would have to be Outlast, man. And it's not supposed to be. I like it because it's not true horror, you know. You know, I like how it's different. You know, you can't fight back. You know, the whole "you can't fight back" argument is that, you know, the enemy is clearly scary, and your character, you can't possibly fight back, you know? It's too weak.
What about the second one?
You can, if an enemy grabs you, you can actually shrug him off.
In the second game or the first?
The second.
Oh, the second. Oh, so they did.
Okay, so in the second game, they improved the overall gameplay and stuff. They improved every aspect of it, but just as you said, but from fucking, what's it, that game called, An Evil Within, right? From 1 to 2, they've improved it with the sequel. But unlike the original and Silent Hill, not Silent Hill, what am I talking about? Fucking Outlast. It just doesn't capture the original's vibe, man. That mental hospital, man, that was scary, man. And you can clearly see from the gameplay that you were watching me play, there are times and shit where like enemies will just pop up out of nowhere. Well, not even enemies, but just people. Remember when I tried to open that door and I look in the window and he's right there? Or that time I crawled underneath that thing and there by that bed and that dude peeked? Or at the very beginning of the game, where you first get to the hospital and you zoom into the window, you can clearly see somebody running. It's the shit like that that happens that makes the game creepy. But it's not, it was on such, you have to understand though, it was on such a low budget at the time that they weren't gonna be producing no big ass fucking horror game.
Oh. I don't know. I just think that I really would like them to make a remake of Silent Hill 1 video game, because I think that game really deserves a remake. Especially the first game, because the graphics really obviously didn't age well. Obviously. And I feel like they could really make a lot of money on that. They definitely could. I guarantee you they make a Silent Hill remake. That game is so almost as good.
Do you know what PT is?
Yeah, a game that got canceled because of their greedy pockets of Konami.
Alright, there's the answer to your question.
But that never means, I think they could redeem themselves if they do remake the first game. In all honesty, that would be it. They would be
there'd be good feedback. There'd be a lot of press.
Maybe they'll be forgiven. Who knows? They'll really have to really apologize to Kojima about how they treated him, because they really treated him wrongly. They really did. They fucked with him too much. I mean, this guy really cares about video games, just like how Capcom kind of fucked what's his name? Made Resident Evil. I can't remember his name. I'll look it up. Shinji Mikami, right? Yep, Shinji Mikami. That's his name. I don't know why they fuck with these good developers like that. It's like they don't want to give the
it's a corporate thing. I never take sides because I feel like it's subjective to, you know, one person or whatever. Or at the end of the day, it's all about money. But you weren't ever. But here's the thing: we were never there at the office. You don't know if whose fault it is. It could be both of them. It could be even the developer's fault. I'm not saying anything, but what I will say is I will never pick sides on stuff like that because none of it really gets out there.
I know. I can see that point, but I'm just saying, as a corporate place, they're good at manipulation. They're good at manipulating people to do things and not do things. And I think we know if there's a corporate, obviously corporate's always going to win over a developer any day of the week. And that's just how that's just how the industry works. Corporate always wins. I understand everything's about money and this, but there's better ways to handle situations like that. What we need to learn in the industry is how to compromise better.
But here's the thing: it's all hidden. Anything that happens in the industry stays in the industry. So we'll never get to know the full story. So I don't see the point of blaming the industry's fault. Now the industry itself, the industry game,
it's the corporate. I think it's a lot to do with how corporate doesn't know how to compromise. They just want to make the biggest amount of money possible instead of, you know, maybe losing a little bit of money for a better game.
Well, I mean, you take a look at
better publicity, which will make more money anyway in the long run.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you think about it like this. You take the smaller developers that crafted games like BioShock, or you know, Kevin Levine when he made BioShock, man, that game was a big ass high risk. Without, you know, with a fucking huge ass reward. That game's fucking gold. That game is living gold.
Resident Evil 2 was a risk. Oh, look how good that game got to be.
Now, you see, it's like, yeah, I know, but that's back when the original, man, they weren't even a full big time developer yet, man. It's back when people still had to work their way to the top when their games were the best.
That was a very big risk what they did with Resident Evil 4. You know how many people were originally pissed off on how 4 was? Because of how used they were with the fixed camera angles? I mean, people are still pissed about that. there are people, and I know how crazy this might sound, there are people that do not like Resident Evil 4, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I understand that the game was originally going to have fixed cameras and the story was going to be a little different, and there are things I do not like in that game, like the Ashley. I do not like Ashley in that game. I think if that section of the game was taken out and Leon was just an agent under the orders to investigate this area, I think that would have made the game 100 times better.
But the president's daughter, really? Really, we're gonna go there? Really?
And also, I understand people were like, well, Leon's whole character development changed. He became this, like, superhero sci-fi killer, kicking crazy motherfucker. I understand that, too. And they took it to a way different level in Resident Evil 5 when Chris was this hunk of metal
well, yeah,
big
but...
guy. And I understand why they went in that direction, but at the same time, the original concept of Resident Evil 4, I like the whole, he's in a mansion, and how he was documenting things. It kind of gave me that Silent Hill vibe. I understand they were kind of didn't want to, what's it called? Not cheat, what's the word? I don't know the word. Copy and paste Silent Hill, which it really wasn't. Looking at how the game was originally going to be made with the camera angle differences, and I think it's okay to like take a little bit of an idea from another game and make it your own idea.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how most games are, you know. But the execution of it is different either way.
Also, with games, every game that is ever made is always taking an idea from another thing and making it its own. I think that's okay to do as long as it's not an actual copy and paste of every little detail.
Well, yeah, I mean, and here's what I'd say to those bullshitters that are like, well, that's just copy and paste of this. Well, hang on there. It's like saying if Silent Hill or Siren is a copy and paste of Silent Hill, right?
Which was made by the same person, technically. So they're just using the same idea and changing it up a little bit.
Well, well, here, let me use a different example. That'd be like saying that, what's it called? That, what's the game?
You know, we could even do it on a more broad term. That would be like saying movies are copying books for entertainment.
Well, yeah, by default, by saying that, therefore by default means that there's no winning. It's all based upon the original. Which, if we were to go all the way back in time, the original form of entertainment was jerking off. So does that mean that video games?
Oh my gosh. Where is this turned to? Where have we turned to?
I don't know, but am I wrong?
No. I agree.
How do you think cavemen entertained themselves with video games? Hell no, man. They were trying to bust a nut, bro, on a rock or something.
Actually, not even that. They were drawing, I guess, rocks and shit. Crafting with rocks. But no, I mean, but like, honestly, like, I hate when people do that, because unless it's an actual copy and paste, it's not a copy and paste. And Resident Evil 4, I admit, I agree with the people that say the original concept of Resident Evil 4 probably would have been slightly better. Because no Ashley. And we have to admit, Ashley is the worst part of that game. Come on. I mean, I don't want to escort a girl in that's a grown woman. A grown woman, not a child, like in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, but it is a VIP.
Like, I understand in Resident Evil 2 you have to kind of protect Sherry. Sherry's a little kid. I can see that. That's fine. We can protect a little kid, but a grown woman can't protect herself?
Well, yeah, she's the president's daughter. See, that's the thing. That's a very big extreme. I don't understand. Why can't it be the president himself? You know?
But do we understand who Leon was as a character? Leon was like a rookie police officer. Now he's this fucking.
Well, I don't like the. Yeah, I don't see how that happens. You see, he's a rookie.
I understand, yeah. But he did end in Resident Evil 2. It did end with him working for the government. But I would have liked to see that progress.
Instead of the jump.
Cutscenes, it just jumped. It didn't give us like a opening cutscene, you know. I love how it's in 1998 and he kind of explains what happens in all the other games, but I want to see cutscenes where he's building his character up. Also, Spoiler alert. Krauser, I would have loved to see a cutscene with maybe him with, like, them working together and, like, you know, forming this bond. And then that would have made it more powerful. When you saw that part with them about to fight, that knife fight, it would have made that scene a little bit more powerful. Why their animosity towards each other like that? Like, we're just fighting some random guy with a sword, or not a sword, a knife, and we know this person, but we don't know how we know this person. Like, what?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that they should indulge us more into the story elements, and I think that, you know, I think it was because, let's be honest, when was that game? That game was made back when the GameCube existed, man. You know, so I think the lack of
Capcom was starting to get greedy at that point. Capcom was wanting to do it their way. They were kicking Shinji into the curb because there was a lot of ideas they had for Resident Evil 4, and I know you say you don't want to blame companies and stuff, but sometimes I think that companies do take the easy route to make the most amount of money. And
well, the way I see it, man, I think here's how the industry should work, man. Free thinkers have the freedom to think within their contract. When they sign that contract, they're signing away limitations and stuff, and you got to understand that. But also, if you're free thinking for a video game, man, it's not just about the developer. You see, so as an industry, they need to step back and say, hey, we're the people that make the money so that you can do what you're doing right now, so just do it, you know. But don't rush them and don't tell them what they can or cannot do unless it's within their contract. Like, you know, obviously GTA, you can't add kids to the game because they can't be killing kids in GTA. That's one thing, so it's probably in their contract to what they can or cannot do.
Well, I mean, they could make kids, but they should not make them allowed to be hit or punched or killed. Obviously, you're a grown adult.
Now, another thing is, you know, they did this with comics too. You know, if we take this back to like the Spawn comics, dude, the exact same thing happened, man. They kept telling creative thinkers what they could or couldn't do, so then this comic book dude.
Actually, I know what you mean now. Yeah, that would kind of fuck the mechanics, actually, if they put kids in a GTA. Then when you're doing the punching animation, you accidentally hit a kid. How does that work? Yeah, I guess you're right. That makes sense.
Well, then you have a bunch of other complications as far as development goes. But remember, it's not just one creator, by the way. So I think when we say creator, like, you know, Konami, you know, he takes a lot of credit for his games, but he's not the one making them, to be honest. He's the one writing the story and all that. But when it comes down to it,
Kojima, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kojima. Yeah.
But no, they give credit to their workers too. I've seen Shinji Mikami give credit to the people he's worked with. But I just think that they deserve a lot of credit. Like, he made Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami. He was the director. He wrote the scripts. He picked the cast. I understand why he gets the credit he gets. But
not Shinji Mikami, the other guy that made Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, Kojima. Yeah.
Oh, I don't really know Kojima's side of things, Metal Gear Solid and stuff. But I'm saying, I'm gonna use Mikami on this out because I know his stuff more. It's just.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
I love Resident Evil 4. I love Resident Evil 4.
What's his name? Not Resident Evil. I'm trying to. They all have weird Japanese names. It's hard to keep track. The guy who does Metal Gear, Kojima, right? Yeah, Kojima. So he takes a lot of credit for his games, man, and that's like, he's not the only one doing the work. You have to give credit to the audio guy to record all the gun sounds and all the animals and stuff like that, and voice actors, obviously. You have to give credit to the people, even the corporate people have to give credit to, because without the money that they produce, the game wouldn't even exist. But it even comes down to even things like the engineers who designed the mechanics of the game, and all the little details, the lead art design, and all that. There's just so much to it, man. It's like, if we were to take it from the corporate side, you know how many different arguments there are there's at least 10, 15 arguments for every side of the corporate part of it, you know, that there is.
Man, bro. that they fucked Mikami up bad with the fourth game. You know how many times they have to redo this, redo that? Mikami had to negotiate on how he wanted Resident Evil 4 because he knew once he was done, he could never go back to Resident Evil again. And then Resident Evil 5 happened. And I love Resident Evil 4 and 5. I love those games. I have very fond memories of those games, but I can tell they could have made these games a lot better. 5 should have been a single-player game. It was originally made as a single-player game. They made it a two-player game because of how the industry was getting controlled by, what do they call those kind of people? The people that get mad when things aren't. Not, fucking, what do they call that? Can't think of the word. Censored. Everything's gotta be censored.
Well, yeah. But
Those people.
do you remember? By the time that game came out, Call of Duty, all these multiplayer games, right? Here's the big shift in the whole industry when multiplayer became a thing, right? See, they're all story-based, solo. Now multiplayer is the thing, and now the kids think multiplayer is cool. Do multiplayer, and it just influences the whole industry. Now you get, you know, Detroit becomes human and stuff like that. Well, I know that, but like, remember, it became really mainstream on the consoles by the time the PS3 was out.
Oh, when 5 came out, yeah, that's true.
So if you had that perspective in mind, remember the whole industry the whole industry is a trend, and when that trend shifts, the whole industry shifts. And not all of it though, you know, because you get developers like Quantum Dream that make what's it called? You know, Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get those kind of games, but those are off-brand developers. They're doing their own thing, right? But when it comes down to games like Call of Duty and shit, here's what I like Borderlands is it has everything, man. It has multiplayer ability. You can play the whole story with 3 friends, okay? It has RPG elements, right? It has everything, and it does it its own way, you know?
The thing is about, when I played Resident Evil 4, I loved the game. I remember I didn't even have these thoughts until, like, as I got older, I realized this game would have been better if there was no Ashley. They had this concept of where it was like a mist, and there was psychological horror, and I'm thinking if it went that route, Resident Evil 5, obviously I knew Chris was going to be in it. Chris was always going to be in Resident Evil 5. Wesker was always going to be in Resident Evil 5. Jill was always going to be in Resident Evil 5. If they had to make Resident Evil 5 a 2-player game, which they did not have to do that, they should have had it with Chris and Jill. It shouldn't have just been that way, because Jill and Chris were from the very beginning. It would have been a nice callback. Wow, you know, these are the characters that started it all. Maybe the original Resident Evil, Chris and Jill. Now they're together, they're partners, and not even romantic partners. They should have done that too, because we all knew Chris and Jill had that romantic feeling, especially when, spoiler alert, she saves him. Which I liked how they did that. They made Jill be the one to save Chris from Wesker instead of Chris being the one to save Jill from Wesker. That's what I like about it. They switched the roles. They made her be the one to save Chris. So it shows you she's not the damsel in distress. Kind of makes him the damsel in distress if you really think about it. But in the end, he does save Jill. But what's true? But I mean, she does save him too. She saved him plenty of times.
Have you played Dead Space?
But I really liked Wesker in Resident Evil 5. I knew he was gonna die eventually. But I really think, I know you agree, if Resident Evil 4 didn't have Ashley, Resident Evil 5 was a single player game you played as Chris and it was Chris's story, those games would have been 100% as good as the original 1, 2, 3 and remake.
And now big boy question time. Have you played Dead Space?
No, but I've actually seen gameplay. And I gotta say, Dead Space 2 is the shit.
Yes, it was the shit. Now, I will tell you one thing, that game, generally speaking, scared the fuck out of me. It's based off of Event Horizon. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
Okay, so Event Horizon is a sci-fi horror movie that takes place on a spaceship. And that's all I'm gonna say, but it is based off of that. Now, you know, man, that game is so awesome, man. I want a horror game like that, like Dead Space 2. You know?
Shit.
Where it has combat, but it's not, you're not like a badass, but you're not pussyfooting around though.
I see.
Have you read the book Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad?
Oh, what's it about?
I want a horror game like that. Not like that, you know, but like that. Okay, so it's basically about these guys working for a company, and they harvest ivory from elephant tusks in Africa, right? And basically, the best guy that's good, the best at it, right? Mr. Kurtz. His station, he's no longer responding, that sort of thing. He's ill, and this guy goes to check up on him, and he goes to the deep heart of Africa, and he sees like heads on sticks and shit like that. It's all tribalistic and shit, and there's effigies and shit. It's fucked up, man, and all kinds of shit, and it just it's so deep, but like I'm not really gonna go into it, and of course the stream, but I want like a horror game that like takes place in like the wilderness, like the forest almost. That takes place in like some sort of deserted island or something, and I guess, you know, it's just you and whatever tribalistic people are there. Now, obviously not like the forest, because the forest is, you know, the cannibals, the mutants, and all that. And it's a really good game, and I suggest playing it. But that game has ass at telling a story, man. It's because the story is, it's not randomly generated, but it's, how do I put it, man? It's like your spawn is randomly generated, and you have to pick up certain items and acquire bits and pieces as you go along. The story is just in the back seat, and of course the action and the survivals in the front seat. So obviously I would like a story-based game like that, reversed, where the gameplay mechanics come in the middle, combat's also in the middle, survival elements are in the middle, and everything else is in the front seat, including the story, everything else, and then whatever else is remaining can stay in the trunk of the car. You know, graphics, that sort of thing. But I would like a survival horror game like that.
Oh.
Have you played Obscure?
No, I think I've heard of it.
You would like it, man. It's based off of Resident Evil. It's like this game in a high school, and at night the high school becomes evil, I guess. And it's pretty fun. It's on the PS2.
Shit.
Man, dude, I miss my older games, man. The PS2, PS3 era games are my favorite, man. Get games like Time Splitters, Borderlands, you know, BioShock, System Shock. Well, System Shock's a bit earlier, but you get games like fucking Half-Life and Portal and that sort of thing. Oh no, Dom. I'm looking forward to playing Daymare 1998.
What do you mean?
That game we were talking about earlier, Daymare.
Oh.
It's based off of Resident Evil, but it's its own game. I'm looking forward to playing that, man. It looks so cool. Oh, weird question. Have you ever played a what's that game called? It'll come back to me. Ah, man. It's by Capcom. Haunting Grounds, I think. I think it's by Capcom, right? It's like this girl and this dog.
Oh, yeah, it's that old game you play as some chick.
Yeah. That was a pretty cool game.
Oh, it's a cool game. Borderlands.
Borderlands is a good game. You know, I think that, what's it called, man? Oh, shit. I don't know, man. I want another game like Condemned. That game had it all, man. It had fun combat. Like, okay, so right, the game is like a melee-focused combat, but there are guns in it, and they're not hard to use at all. It's very easy to use guns in that game. But it's like, oh man, it's awesome, dude.
I'm tired, shit.
Yeah, I feel that.
Oh, I gotta work.
Shit, now I got school tomorrow in the kitchen on the computer.
You think you should end the stream?
Should I end the stream?
Yeah,
Yeah, conversation's dead.
No, it's not that. I could probably talk a bit more. I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired too.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna end it.